Thanks for staying up later. Back by popular demand for a third appearance, it's number 7, Mickey Mantle. This is World Series week, that's true enough. But also, yesterday, October 20th, 1991, was Mickey Mantle's 60th birthday. Now, I know people have been coming up to you for several weeks now saying, I can't believe Mickey Mantle is 60. Can you believe it?
What if I don't make it? What's going to happen? Yeah, I can believe it. Now I can. At first, I wouldn't ever have thought I had a chance at it. But, heck, the last 10 years, I've been feeling as good or better than I did when I was playing.
How much does it surprise you, this outpouring of affection now for you? You were always a very popular player, but it's surged again now in the 80s and early 90s.
I guess it's the the bubblegum card craze. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. I had one guy tell me one time what he thinks it is that like DiMaggio and Williams and those guys, they're kind of, you know, they're like a little older now. The guys that are in control now, so to speak, are guys like you that was kids whenever I was playing. And now they're about 45 or 50 years old, and they got kids. And they tell them, I've had a lot of guys come through those bubblegum cards, you know, tears in their eyes, and say, Mickey, it took me 30 years to get here, you know. I mean, shake my hand. I've been waiting all this time. And then if they got a little boy, like the last card show I was in, guy said to his kids, says, son, that's the greatest baseball player that's ever lived. And the little boy looked at me and he says, Daddy, he's an old man. But anyway, for some reason or other, and I guess that's what it is, I retired in '69, and from about 1969 to '74, when I went in the Hall of Fame, it was kind of like Mickey Mantle died, you know. I mean, I went back to Dallas, Texas, and we had Mickey Mantle country cooking and a couple of bowling alleys and stuff like that, but nothing seemed to be going good, you know, and it didn't make any difference where I went. Nobody cared, you know. And that wasn't, I have people, too, come through those lines and say, don't you get tired of signing your name, you know, or tired of this? And I sure don't. It's really flattering, you know, and that they'd even want my autograph, you know, and then to brag on me, and it's flattering as it can be, and I don't get tired of it. I really like it. But for some reason or other, I have come back. And it seems like now that I'm more popular than I was when I played.
You mentioned Mickey Mantle's country cooking. That was one of those business deals. Didn't turn out all that well after you retired. But you had a great idea for a slogan. And if they had only used the slogan, then the thing would have been more popular than Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, I did. I used the slogan myself, and I'm not sure that's not what closed it up.
What was it? It's late at night.
To get a better piece of chicken, you'd have to be a rooster. I noticed that Willie Mays was opening up a fried chicken place out in Jersey here lately, and I wanted to pass that slogan on to him, see if he'd use it, see if it worked for him.
This is the year of a lot of baseball anniversaries, and you were involved in one way or another in 3 of them. In 1951, Bobby Thompson hits his famous home run, but you're a rookie for the Yankees, and you're waiting to find out whether you're going to play the Dodgers or the Giants. Did you watch the game on TV or listen to it on the radio?
I can't remember if I watched that game or not. Billy was with the Yankees at that time, too, and I doubt that we watched the game.
So Billy Martin probably was getting you ready and psyched up for the World Series.
We were getting ready for the series, yeah.
What was DiMaggio like to you? That was his last year, your first year.
Joe was real quiet. He wasn't really outgoing at all, you know. Like, my locker was right next to Joe's in the Yankee locker room. And he was my idol when I came up, you know. I think he was probably the greatest. I didn't get to see him but that one year, and he was still good in his last year. But I think he was probably the best all-around baseball player. Many people have said that ever played.
But you and he weren't close. He didn't say, hey, kid, you're going to be a great player or anything like that?
If he spoke to me, I'd say, hey, Joe, how you doing, you know? But I kind of like waited till he speak. Sometimes you'd say, hey, Joe, how you doing? And he'd go right on by and sit down, you know? So it was like you let him, he was the boss.
Yeah. 35 years ago, this month, Don Larson pitched his perfect game in the 1956 World Series. And you hit a home run in that game and saved the perfect game with a great running catch. What do you remember about that day?
Well, I remember that catch because I didn't make that many great catches, but I do remember that one.
Here's the pitch coming to him. Swings on this one, drives one deep in the left center field. Mickey Mantle going back for it. Still going back. He reaches up and he grabs it.
That was one of the biggest thrills I've ever had playing in that game. I was nervous playing center field. You know, you hear guys saying, just let them hit it to me, you know. I was hoping they didn't hit it to me. Another thing I remember about Magley pitched a great game in that game. I don't think we got over 3 or 4 hits off him. I hit a home run, I think, about the 5th inning.
Magley feeds the 2-2 delivery to Mantle. There's a swing and a drive in the right field, and that is a home run for Mickey Mantle.
I think we beat him 2-0.
Yeah. What was Larson like on the bench?
He's trying to get somebody to talk to him, you know. We call him Goonie Bird, and the name fit. I mean, he knows he's pitching a no-hitter, and, you know, everybody is how superstitious everybody is during a no. Guys in the booth don't even say anything about it, right? He's walking up and down the bench trying to get somebody to talk to him. Hey, Mick, you know I got a no-hitter. Wouldn't it be funny if I pitch a no-hitter? Everybody's trying to stay away from him, you know.
So you didn't even say anything to him?
No, get out of here, Goonie, you know.
And he really was Goonie, right? I mean, he was like always out till 3 or 4 in the morning, and Stengel kind of had no use for him, right?
In fact, I think before that game, he might have been out a while that night. He smelled like it in the dugout.
1961, now 30 years ago, is your pursuit of the home run record with Roger Maris.
Roger, yeah.
They say, or they said then, the two of you, they tried to pitch you as rivals, but you told me many times before, not only weren't you rivals, you were pretty good friends.
Oh, in New York, you can pick out your own roommates. On the road, you know, well, I didn't have a roommate that year. We quit having roommates when, or I quit having a roommate when Billy got traded in '57. So I didn't have a roommate. Roger could, I think he roomed with Cletus Boyer, I think. But anyway, in New York, you can pick out whoever you want to room with, you know, and me and him had an apartment out by LaGuardia Airport. I don't think me and him ever had an argument. I can remember most of the time he got up a little earlier than I did, you know. I can remember I'd be laying in bed and he'd come in and whack me in the head with a newspaper and say, hey, roomie, get up. We had another fight, you know. He'd bring a cup of coffee in and then we'd sit there and laugh about the article in the paper, you know, where we had a fight. I don't think we ever had an argument. What
was the worst you ever felt as the result of a baseball game?
The Mazeroski's homer.
In 1960?
Yeah. We scored 58 runs and they scored 23, something like that. That was the only time that I ever got beat, or the Yankees ever got beat, the teams that I played on, ever got beat that I felt like the best team lost. And I couldn't stand it. I cried. I've been with the Yankees for 11 years then, right? And I cried all the time, or 10 years, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you guys won your games 16-3, 10-0, and 12-0, and they won all the close games. And then in this 7th game, Mazeroski hits the home run, beats you guys 10-9, and it's a wild scene. He's running around the bases. And
I remember Yogi was playing left field. I was playing center field. When the ball went over the wall, it's that brick wall out there. Mm-hmm. Yogi's up against the wall, so I'm backing him up, you know, in case it did hit the wall. And when it went over the wall, I looked at Yogi, and Yogi turned around and looked at me, and he went, I'm like, well, we do. I mean, that's it.
Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left. This may do it. Back to the wall goes Berra. It is over the fence, home run. The Pirates win.
Especially fans who aren't old enough, most of the footage that they would see of you would be from the 1960s. And even though you were still a great player during most of that period of time, you couldn't run anymore. So a lot of younger fans don't realize how fast you were. I mean, in a flat foot race, you were faster than Willie Mays or faster than whoever.
Just about anybody, yeah. Yeah, I could, especially before in '51, they time me going from home to first in 3-1. Like if you do it in 3-6 or something, that's pretty fast. On a drag bunt hitting left-handed, I could go from home to first in 3-1. But I went from home to first in 3-4 hitting right-handed. So that's really quick. That's quite a bit faster than Ricky Henderson goes from home to first.
I asked Ted Williams this one time, and he just kind of laughed. I said, what does it feel like when you hit a baseball just right? When you make the best possible contact you can make? What did it feel like to you?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you here on TV. I could compare it to something.
You know, that was sort of like what Ted said.
No, I mean, it's the, I can get, sometimes if I dream, you know, I told you about my dream I have that I'm trying to make a comeback or something. You know, most of the time you ground out or you can't run to first or something. Every once in a while I make contact and I can see it going over a roof or something. You know, I'll wake up with goosebumps. I still get it. You know, when I can, like I saw me hitting those home runs on that clip you showed a while ago. I mean, that really makes you feel good, and that's the way I felt when I'd hit a home run. That's what I'm there for, you know. And as compared to striking out, it's really great.
Is that the way you always think of yourself? You know, like I said, you're a modest guy, but when you think about yourself, you think of a baseball player, a guy in a baseball uniform?
Yeah. Well, I was a ball player all my life. I always will be.
Playing center field for the Yankees, number 7, Mickey Mantle.
What's the worst baseball fight you ever saw?
I never did get in the middle of it. Are you talking about, did I get into it?
I
was on first base in Detroit. You remember Norm Cash?
Sure.
This is kind of funny. Me and him were pretty close, you know. And I was on first base, and we'd been getting a few hits or something. Pepitone was the next hitter, and they knocked Pepitone down, and he charged the mound. And so, you know, like, you don't know what to do. And that's the funny thing about it. You don't know, like, if I run in there, who am I going to hit? You know, I liked all them guys. And so I just started kind of trotting toward the mound, you know, and all of a sudden from behind, Norm Cash jumped on me and threw me down on the ground, you know, and I'm on the ball. And he's acting like he's fighting me, you know. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You got any nude pictures of your wife?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "You want to buy some?" This was during the fight.
Kind of an endearing bit of humor out on the field. Somebody told me that you...
But I never got into them. It seems to me that the fights they have nowadays are more serious than the ones they used to have, you know. I mean, the closest I ever came to having one was Bob Turley used to call the pitches on, you know, like the way a pitcher would go into his glove with a ball or something.
Yeah, Turley could detect fastball, curveball.
He could tell fastball and curveball. On fastballs, I love to get the signs. Some guys like Moose didn't like them. It made him swing at bad balls or something. But I love to know if they're, especially on a slow curve, you know. If you know a slow curve's coming, it's like a guy going, here. So Turley would, when I was hitting especially, if it's going to be a fastball, Turley go real loud, whistle real loud, you know. You can hear it all over the ballpark. So I know it's going to be a fastball. First time up in Detroit, Jim Bunning was pitching, and I hear it. I hit it over the roof, right field roof. Next time up, Bunning's got a guy, there's a guy on first, I'm up hitting, and he gets his sign, he goes like this. You can hear Turley, it's real quiet. Turley heard, "Make him get it up." So I know it's a curve. Bunning goes, "Timeout." Comes walking up to home plate, called Bill Freehand, the catcher, out about from me to you in front of me. He says, they're calling my pitches from the dugout. I'm going to knock him down. And he sent it so I can hear him, you know. So he goes back out on the mound. Freehand comes back by, and I said, "Did I hear what he said?" He says, "Yeah, be loose." Sure enough, the next pitch was right at my head, you know. And I told Freehand, I said, "Now, I'm not going out on the mound. Don't get excited, you know." I just walked about 2 steps out there, and I told Bunning, I said, "If you even come close to me again, I'm not going to come out there now, but I'll be seeing you after the game." That's the closest I ever got to having a fight.
And he didn't knock you down again after that?
No, luckily. I thought he probably would, yeah. But he didn't, no.
We were looking at some of the clips, and we saw the home run you hit off Barney Schultz in 1964 in the World Series. It won the game, and it also broke Babe Ruth's record for most home runs in World Series play. Is that your single most exciting moment?
Well, as far as home runs and games go, yeah. You know, I played in 2,401 games as a Yankee, which is more than any Yankee. A lot of people don't realize that because they think that I was hurt all the time, you know. But there's so many good things happen, like going in the Hall of Fame on my first try, you know, 3 most valuable players, leading the league in hitting, just 12 championships, or American League championships out of the first 14 years. So many good things happen. It's pretty hard to pick one. I think probably if I had one thing that I could pick out, would have been 1969, I think it was. They had Mickey Mantle Day at the stadium. This is before they renovated the stadium, and there was like 72,000 people showed up. and they rode me around the outfield in a golf cart, and they retired number 7. And I think at that time they had only retired numbers 3, 4, and 5 for Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio. And I mean, for a kid from Commerce, Oklahoma, to have his uniform retired with those 3 guys and hanging on the center field wall at Yankee Stadium was really something.
And now, Mickey Mantle, Yankee Stadium is all yours.
I was there that day. I was there for that one and also the one where they gave you a day while you were still an active player in 1965. And I can say, very honestly, it's one thing to even be accorded a standing ovation, but those people would not stop. Most people don't realize what it is to have 10 minutes of sustained clapping and cheering. That's all it was, just 10. The people just did not want to stop, and you'd try to come to the microphone to speak, and they wouldn't let you.
That was, and remember, you know, speaking at home plate at Yankee Stadium is hard enough, and I'm thinking about what I got to say, right? And from to just keep sitting there and clapping, I'm sitting there thinking, well, I got to be saying this, you know. And then all of a sudden, when they do stop, you've almost lost your train of thought, you know, and it's scary.
Now, to think that the Yankees are retiring my number 7 with numbers 3, 4, and 5 tops off everything that I could ever wish for. I've often wondered how a man who knew he was going to die could stand here and say that he was the luckiest man in the world. But now I think I know how Lou Gehrig felt. This is...
You have a thing out now with the watch, where there are 536 special editions of a watch.
I got a trivia. You think you know everything about me, right?
Well, I know a lot.
Well, anyway, this is the watch. Can you get a shot of it? You want to do it?
Okay, this is a special edition watch. It's 18-karat gold, right?
There's 536 of them for my 536 home runs. That's a limited edition, 18-karat gold. That's number 7 for my 7th home run.
And so they're 1 through 536, and there will be no more than the 536
and I'm
issue.
gonna make a deal with you.
And you've signed it on the back.
If you can tell me who I hit my 7th, well, you get a letter with the watch in a brown teak box. It's a really nice box with a velvet inside, and there's a letter in there that I signed it to. It says, "This is my 7th home run. I hit it so and so off of so and so, and the date." Do you know who that was?
The 7th home run?
Well, you told me you knew them all from 400 on.
Well,
so.
I know them all from. I actually do know them all from.
Well, I'm going to give you that. If you can get that,
on.
if you get that one, I'll give you that watch.
Number 7. See, I actually know that number 1 came off a guy named Gumpert, right? Randy Gumpert from the Chicago White Sox.
I knew I wouldn't ask you that one.
Number 7. So that would have been in 1951 because you had 13 home runs as a rookie.
I hope you don't figure this out. Those things are $2,000 a piece. What do you give me? You give me $400 for coming on. I'm gonna blow $1,600.
What team was it against? Give me a hint.
I'm not going to give you no hint.
All right, okay.
I guarantee you, you'll all sit there and let's forget it.
I say Virgil Trucks.
You got the right year.
Was Detroit? Was it against Detroit?
Okay, I got the watch back, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you a hint. It's against Boston, and the guy is a lot like Trucks.
He's against Boston, a lot like Trucks. He would have had to have been a hard thrower, right?
And an older type guy.
Hard thrower, older
about the
type
same
guy.
age. They were a lot alike, these two guys.
Right-hander? Dave Ferris.
That's
no?
good. No.
It's good, but no. Play along at home, won't you? All right, who'd you hit this home run off of?
Ellis Kinder.
Ellis Kinder, ladies and gentlemen. Back after this. Base it on when we're taping, it's happy birthday a few days early. If we base it on when people are seeing this, it's happy birthday 1 day late. But either way, good to see you again.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Mickey Mantle, and we'll see you later.